Good morning, crystal meditators. So, on this lovely sunny morning, I'd like to bring to you the energy of Amethyst. And so it's a bit sunny too. Look at the colours, look at this beautiful piece of amethyst. This one's a rough one, rough base that you can rest on, surface with a polished point. And amethyst is connecting you to your third eye and your crown chakra. So a very good stone to meditate with, to access your own inner clarity. And when we're in a situation which is full of drama and emotion, we don't often see things as clearly as we should, and we react to our emotions and the drama of what's unfolding in front of us. So the amethyst, especially these quite smoky ones, are quite grounding, rather than taking you off out into your altered universe. And what I want to do today is take you into your inner crone, so the third eye connecting you to your grandmother energy, that inner grandmother who has wisdom from experience, who has wisdom from any situation, who doesn't tend to judge and put an ego perspective on anything that's unfolding. So the amethyst is going to help you connect into that energy that perhaps we sometimes react, and I've had this a bit myself this week, situations that have unfolded that hurt, that have been fired at you. Other people, when they're in fear, don't always react in a particularly empathic way. And when we get hurt, obviously we go straight into the ego, the wounded child, the inner child. So I want to take a minute with the amethyst and the third eye. It's important we all have this third eye energy, this inner seeing, this access to see beyond perhaps our physical reality too. And if we don't use it, like anything, you don't use it, you lose it. And the third eye is not necessarily about foretelling your future. It is about seeing clearly what's unfolding in front of you, how you are reacting, how other people are reacting, how a whole situation, how the whole pandemic, how people react collectively, and you might feel that energy. So this will give you insight. This will allow you to access something a little bit above and beyond the immediate picture. And yesterday I was walking out with the dog and I saw a lovely kite, and this just reminded me to look and rise above the situations. And this access is here, this is into a much higher perspective, so that we're not stuck in the mud. It's so muddy at the moment. And we're not stuck in the mud with our situations, our opinions, our judgments. Just loving this stone, it's so beautiful. It's lovely to hold. So I want you just to take a moment, make yourself comfortable in whatever position you're in, whether you're seated or lying, whether in a regular chair or on the floor. It doesn't matter how we access our insight, our wisdom. But just allow yourself to connect to your breath, connect to your stone. Doesn't matter if you don't own the stone, just connect to the energy of this stone. And you just invoke the energy of amethyst. So you invoke it into your energy aura, into your psyche. And we just intend to allow the amethyst to give us insight to any situation that we are perhaps battling with at the moment. Either personally, collectively, globally. Humanity's going through a big shift at the moment, dealing with a lot of trauma. And just invoke in your angels if you want to use your angels. It's a celestial stone, this one, so if you work with other star beings, angels, guides, people who are not on this earth plane, ascended masters, anybody who's can give you wisdom and knowledge. But also I'd like you to invoke in your inner grandmother, and this is linked every 7 years, so 35 to 42. So if you have lived that age, that era, you know personally that you do gain more wisdom the older you get. So if you haven't lived that era, that age bracket, just invoke in the inner grandmother to be present with you, to help you to choose wisely, to see above the situation, not get pulled down in the mud, the quagmire, the muddy emotional mess that we find ourselves often in. And just allowing yourself a moment to be with yourself. If you're holding the stone, it was going to access a deeper element to yourself. It's going to bring about peace and quiet too. And just feel the breath for a moment, to be present with yourself, with the stone, with your guides and angels. Just bringing yourself into a quiet place. And just be aware where you're up to, how you're feeling right now. If there is a situation you're dealing with, and let's be honest, we're all dealing with a big situation globally, how is that making you feel on an emotional level, on a physical, active level, how we action our life, how we are reacting towards ourselves and other people. Just catch up with yourself right now. Just allow yourself to be present with yourself and how your weeks, your days are passing, how that makes you feel. And don't judge it, just allow it to come forward. Allow yourself to notice whatever it is you need to notice, so that we don't bypass things that we need to see, that we can actually action without reaction. We can look at whatever we need to look at without fear, without suppressing or running away from. And so any situation that is a little bit scary or out of your control, allow yourself to see the bigger picture. Allow yourself to be aware of other people's perspectives, so that we don't just formulate a solution, an idea from our own self, our own perspective, our own experiences, how other people will be feeling in any given situation too. So that we're not just thinking about our own self, our own needs. So in any particular situation that you might be living through, how that one person or people who are dealing with it at the same time as you also might be feeling, also might be receiving that information. How we actually look at that information we're given, that situation we're given, interestingly, we don't always perceive it the same, because our own needs, our own experiences are different. And making none of it right or wrong, but if we can have empathy to how another person's feeling, especially if they are coming from a fear base, if they are scared, and there's a lot of fear at the moment. And just notice how that makes you feel if you are going through a particular situation, if you perhaps put yourself in those other person's shoes just for a moment, don't want you to live out those people's thoughts, actions, but just how they might be feeling right now and how that would make you also feel. And so when we can perceive how their reactions are formulated, it allows us a little bit of compassion, less judgment, and perhaps sympathy for what they are living through too. So when our own needs are met from all perspectives, we can be a bit kinder in the way we enact rather than react through any situation. And let's just ask our inner grandmother. I often see mine sitting in like a little rocking chair, just quietly rocking in her own peace, in her own space. And she doesn't get rattled about things. She'll allow time to access the information, the solution, the answers that we seek. She doesn't want everything in a rush. She doesn't need it right now, this minute. So let's pose a question to your own inner grandmother. And if it's a situation specific to what you're living through right now, you can make it more direct rather than a general question. But just ask your inner grandmother how you see her, how she would react to perhaps that given situation, or just generally, how would she be behaving and reacting and doing right now, right this moment in time. As I say, I see mine just quietly with her knitting needles, sitting in her rocking chair, allowing thoughts and feelings to just come and go. They don't need to be stagnant, they don't need to be held on to. There's a detaching from moments that come and moments that go. So asking your inner grandmother if she has any wise words for you today, or whether she just has a gift for you. Sometimes we see it as a gift. It might be an amethyst. Just to ask your inner grandmother the best solution to perhaps a problem you're trying to work through at the moment. And do give it time to receive the response. Sometimes we're always in a rush to fix, to sort, to finish. But allow this time. There is always time, which allows us time to look at the perspective, to look at all angles, to look at both sides of the coin, so that we don't rush through and have a reaction against other people, against the situations. But it allows us time to formulate a balanced point of view, to see the bigger picture, to see all angles, to rise above the quagmire of emotions, to come out of the mud, and to see that bigger picture which will give us all of the answers, not just our own perspective. And if there is a gift or wise words which are given to you, just obviously be grateful to receive anything, to see anything. You might see it panning out differently to how you had originally thought it would work out. And so this can be even in our own earthwalk path. We have a perception of how things are going to work out, how we're going to do things. But when we step back and take time to look, an overview, then we can see things from different angles and different perspectives, and perhaps get more insight into a better way of doing something. But allow it time. The time here is important too. This is where we connect into the time and the light, and that we can see things slightly differently. And just allow yourself that moment to sit longer with yourself, to allow yourself to be comfortable and at peace with yourself, to see even aspects that we don't like about ourselves, aspects of other people that we don't like, and take away the judgment, accept that things are sometimes different than what we expect them to be. And when people react through fear, it's not always going to be as nice as it can be. But experiencing all angles, allow yourself that time to be, time to see, which will give you then more perspective to act in a more harmonious way, in a more wise way. And so letting this energy just sit for a little longer, the amethyst washing through all the clarity, opening up the third eye, and then allow that energy to reach up into the crown, just underneath the scalp. It's a violet colour. To own whatever it is you need to own in your own perspective, in your own journey, in your own seeing, in the clarity that you see things. So when we own it and not making it against another, so there's no comparison or better than, or right or wrong, but allowing whatever situation in your own perspective and seeing the bigger picture, how we can then move forward. And this grandmother energy is a very soft, gentle, peaceful energy that will allow you to come back into the time. Time is not in a rush. It can go quickly, but we don't need to rush what we see. When we rush, we miss things. So allow yourself time to see, time to look at all angles, time to formulate a balanced point of view, not just one side. Doesn't make that right or wrong, but it allows you a little bit more perspective of how other people might think and feel too. Without that ego, opinion and judgment. And just letting this stone seep into all aspects so we can see clearly into all facets of our life. Right down into the root where we action our life, where we feel safe. Down into the sacral of emotions, where we perhaps react through hurt, through situations that made us feel angry or sad, wounded child. Into the solar plexus, the action of doing, where we have the empowerment to be ourselves. And into the heart, to have compassion, to see the compassion that we need to receive in and give out. And then the throat, into the truth, seeing the truth, so that you can action and speak your own truth in your dreams. And then seeing overview of everything, every aspect, every facet of your life, and how that impacts on other people too, not just your own life, but the aspects of other people will also change the way we act our lives out. And you can sit for as long as you need with the energy of the amethyst in your inner grandmother or inner crone. And just allow that peace to return. When we see it from all angles, it stops becoming a battle. It stops us becoming right or wrong. Allows us to see everything clearly. And if you're ready to come out, I prefer pocket-size amounts of information. You don't need to spend hours and hours, just little insights. Just bring yourself back, finding your breath, feeling the body, feeling the amethyst, allowing that to make you present again. You can have this with you during your day, the energy with you during the day or through your night. And just allowing this amethyst to aid you in seeing clearly, allowing the inner grandmother to help you see clearly, to use wisdom into any given situation. And when you're ready to come back out, just take gratitude for the energy of the stone, for the stone itself, and gratitude for your inner grandmother's wisdom, and for the peace that this brings back to you. That we work all together in unity, that we don't work separately. Everything impacts upon us. Our thoughts, feelings and actions, our speech affect each and every one of us. So how we receive that and how we give that out to other people too. So be mindful of how you also see your situation, how that impacts on other people, how that will make them feel too. Your actions might affect other people in an adverse way, in a way that you didn't expect it to be received. And that doesn't make it wrong, but it doesn't fit that person at that time. So have empathy and compassion for the way you want your thoughts and actions to be received, or the way you give them, the way that you enforce them onto other people. And use the soft inner grandmother energy to perhaps back it off a little bit, give it time, let it have the space. And whatever your day presents, whatever you give and receive, I give peace out to you all. Let you find your peace, let you find your inner clarity. And I wish you all well on this lovely sunny Saturday. Thank you for joining me today. Inner grandmother and amethyst. Bye now.